Right now, at this exact second, your absolute greatest asset is being actively stolen from you. And honestly, the wildest part about the whole thing, you're willingly handing it over. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at the digital cleanse, reclaiming the architecture of focus. We're going to break down exactly how your attention is being systematically harvested, and more importantly, how you can finally take it back.
Just think about it for a second. Every single time you unlock your phone to check some totally meaningless notification, or every time you scroll past, just one more short-form video, you're making a trade. You are literally trading fractions of your human potential, of your time, and of your energy for these cheap, highly engineered hits of dopamine.
Okay, let's dive into this because look, this isn't a fair fight. You are fighting a wildly asymmetric war every single day. Look at this comparison. On your side, you've got your fragile, easily distracted human brain. And on the other side, you're up against thousands of the smartest engineers on the planet, backed by billions of dollars in R&D, and their singular objective is to hijack your attention. And if we're being completely honest and looking at your daily screen time, they're winning.
But listen to me carefully here. It doesn't have to end this way. You do not lack willpower. You aren't fundamentally broken. What you're experiencing right now is just a lack of a systemic defense against a systemic threat. So today, we're going to build that defense. We're going to permanently break this cycle of doom scrolling and implement a ruthless 30-day protocol to detoxify your attention span.
Section 1. Hijacking your neurochemistry, or the asymmetric attention war.
Let's really slow down for a second and examine the dark machinery behind the screen. Because to beat this system, you absolutely have to understand exactly how it operates. We hear the term attention economy thrown around a lot, right? But I need you to understand that this is not just some clever metaphor. It is the literal foundation of modern technology. Your focus is the primary currency. When you sit down to study for an exam, or code a new project, or build a business, that focused energy is the exact product being extracted from you. And this brilliantly illustrates the stakes we're dealing with. The author Cal Newport coined the term deep work. He defines it as the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. Honestly, this is the superpower of the 21st century. It's how real, tangible value is created. But social media platforms, they're perfectly, deliberately engineered to fracture that exact ability.
So how do they do it? Through variable ratio reinforcement schedules. And yeah, if that sounds incredibly clinical, it's because it is. This is the exact same psychological mechanism used in casino slot machines. When you pull down your feed to refresh, it's the digital equivalent of pulling a slot machine lever.
The whole secret sauce here is unpredictable rewards. When that loading wheel spins, you have zero idea what you're going to get. Will it be a funny meme, a breaking news alert, a random message from a friend? That unpredictability creates a massive spike in dopamine in your brain. Actually, scratch that. It creates a far bigger spike than if the reward were just guaranteed. It just keeps you hooked, endlessly searching for that next hit.
So the crucial point is this. Over time, your brain's baseline for stimulation gets incredibly high. This is exactly why staring at a textbook or trying to write out a blank business plan suddenly feels so agonizingly boring. You haven't lost your drive. You've just inadvertently trained your brain to reject hard work. Your baseline is completely destroyed.
Section 2, the moderation myth, and why willpower fails.
This is where we need to aggressively debunk the standard advice that gets thrown at screen-addicted users every single day. You've heard it before, right? Just use social media in moderation. Look, let's be crystal clear. Moderation is a complete lie. Trying to moderate a highly engineered behavioral addiction using sheer willpower, it's like trying to stop a runaway freight train with your bare hands. I mean, it might work for a day, maybe two, but eventually fatigue sets in. And boom, you fall right back into those exact same destructive habits.
You literally cannot bargain with a system that was custom designed to exploit your neurochemistry. You need a total system reset. You have to clear the noise entirely so you can actually hear your own thoughts again.
Section 3, the 30-day cleanse protocol and reclaiming cognitive focus.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this is exactly how we're going to fix it. This is all about reclaiming your cognitive focus. We're going to establish a perfectly stable, locked-off foundation for your mind using a brutalist, highly effective 3-step process. Step 1 is defining the rules. Step 2 is entering the void. And Step 3 is the intentional reintroduction. Let's break these down. Step 1. Define the rules of engagement. you need to identify every single piece of optional technology in your life right now. And by optional, I mean that taking a 30-day break from it isn't going to get you fired, and it won't cause your immediate family to call the authorities thinking you went missing. Delete Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube Shorts, video games. Block the websites. You gotta create physical friction so that a tiny moment of weakness doesn't result in an automatic relapse.
Now, on to step 2, and I gotta warn you, this is absolutely the hardest part. Welcome to the void. During that first week, you are literally going to feel phantom vibrations in your pocket, which, by the way, is a very real, documented psychological phenomenon. You'll reflexively reach for your phone in elevators or waiting in line at the grocery store or the exact second a work task gets difficult. You're going to feel bored, anxious, and deeply, deeply uncomfortable.
Let it happen. That intense discomfort is literally just your brain's dopamine receptors finally starting to heal. During these 30 days, your one job is to aggressively fill that void with high-quality analog activities. Read physical books, go to the gym, sit in absolute silence. Do that deep, meaningful work you've been putting off forever.
And as you do this, a massive realization is going to hit you. You'll suddenly understand that you never actually lacked the time to build your life. You only lacked focus. All those hours were there the whole time. They were just being siphoned away.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast. See, the goal of this explainer is not to convince you to throw your smartphone into the ocean and go move to a cabin in the woods. The real goal is to fundamentally transform your relationship with technology. We're moving from a state of reactive submission to one of intentional, aggressive utility.
Which naturally leads us to step 3, the reintroduction. Look, after 30 days, you don't just download everything back onto your phone. No way. You start with a completely blank slate. You bring back only the technologies that serve a deeply meaningful purpose, and you attach very strict operating procedures to them. For example, if you actually need YouTube for learning, you use it only on a desktop computer, logged out, with all algorithmic recommendations blocked. You dictate the terms. Technology becomes a highly restricted tool you pick up for a specific job, and then you put it right back down.
Section 4, Architecting Your Focus, and the Final Choice. This brings us to the final choice you have to make today. Your attention is the single most valuable resource you will ever possess. It literally dictates the reality you experience and the future you're going to build. You can spend the next 30 days being a passive consumer, letting some algorithm dictate your mood, your beliefs, and the size of your bank account. Or you can draw a line in the sand today. You can reclaim your cognitive real estate and step up to become the architect of your own life.
The clock is ticking, and the choice is 100% yours. So I want to ask you directly, what is the one app you know is secretly destroying your potential right now? Let me know down in the comments, and I want you to commit to deleting it right this very second. And hey, if you're serious about mastering your focus, escaping this algorithmic matrix, and building a life of absolute autonomy, hit that subscribe button for more explainers just like this one.
Start the cleanse. We have work to do.